Biz Show, BigBizShow.com. 110 million TV homes strong, 150 radio stations in 175 countries. A big welcome to Bloomberg Financiero. We are in Bloomberg in Mexico. 15 million homes of rabid U.S. investors. I believe they pulled the trigger on Bloomberg U.S. very shortly. We're brought to you by Prudential. Let Prudential be your rock for retirement. Splash Beverage Group. We love Robert Nistico. Did you hear we didn't get the endorsement? Trish Hunt.
Trish got it.
Northwest Biotherapeutics, of course, and Bayer Advance. Better science, better results. Starbucks. And it's not Bloomberg, it's Bloomin' Brands.
Bloomin' Brands.
Starbucks. Yeah, heard of them. Did you realize that did it again. Bloomin' Brands owns Fleming Steakhouse.
Delicious.
It owns Carrabba's Italian Grill. And who doesn't like a pair of Carrabba's right next to each other? I saw, like in Mira Mesa, there's two of them. They had Red Lobster, they converted next to the Carrabba's. So send us your picture of your Carrabba's here, and we'll give it to the company. Just bring back a rusty nails joke. He could not resist every time. And send your Carrabba's to Russ at BigBizShow.com. Goodness. Hey, Chris Dawson is back. He's the CEO of Arcimoto. Arcimoto is a really interesting company, and we're going to talk about the FUV, which is their stock symbol, the FUV platform and vehicles. Mike his mouth is watering, thinking about his own personal pizza truck, not to do a business, but to get all the pizzas home,
exactly,
warm and nice in one place. Hey, Chris, nice to have you, pal. I appreciate you taking the time today. How are you doing?
Oh, happy to be here. Good to see you guys.
Hey, let's talk for the folks that didn't catch you last time, because we got a lot of email about you, mistaken for Fabio in the cover of romance novels. Other than that, though, people wanted to know about your business model. By the way, you are the most handsome guest we've ever had. Just letting you know here.
I think you guys need to put your standards up a bit. But I am scouting for that Vidal Sassoon.
Every time someone told us that.
Right.
So talk about the model for Arcimoto, because it really is unique. It's not just the golf cart model or the EV model or the personal smart vehicle model. It's much more than that. So I'm gonna let you take it away here.
Yeah, no, so it's really all of those things. And so when we look at the future of energy and the energy consumption and understanding how much you really need to run around. I mean, the data is fairly clear. 90% are drives or one or two people, minimal cargo, 3-mile trips, and 35 total miles. And so do you really need a 6,000-pound SUV to run around and do all those things? Sometimes you do. Sometimes that's the right tool for the job. Most of the time, however, 90% of the time, this is what is ideal. You know, it fits very easily into a lane, into parking spaces. We stack up 2 and 3 of these into one parking space. And so when we look at the future of energy, I don't have any belief that energy costs are ever going to decrease, right? So far in my life, they've only ever increased. And that's going to include the electrons coming out of the wall. And so what this allows you to do is be 3 times more efficient than a Tesla. So the same amount of get around for a third of the price. And so we're just waiting on the cultural shift here in the States to say, okay, using less is a lot like getting more for less.
So let's talk about the political will and the adoption rate there. And by the way, did you say giddy up or get her done? That you said what was the metric that we're learning here?
Get around.
Get around.
Get around.
That's actually a business term for the company Arcimoto. They have a get around index. What do you think it's going to take? Because in our neighborhoods here on North County Coastal in San Diego, we see in some of the neighborhoods golf carts all the time. We're seeing these type of vehicles. And you're right. I think to myself, why doesn't everyone have one of these? I mean, I understand the need for a car, but 9 times out of 10, you're either with the family and that thing seats 4, or some of them seat 4, or you're with your partner and you're heading down to go to dinner or you're heading down to the grocery store. And by the way, this costs almost zero to run and maintain. So talk about what it's going to take to get the adoption rate up for these type of vehicles.
Yeah. So, and I'll just point out that misnomer, that unconscious bias that you even have. You said 9 times out of 10. The data indicates it's 1 time out of 10 that you've got the family and all those other folks.
Wow.
So actually, most of the time, it's just you or you and one other person in that vehicle. And that's where this is the right tool. This will solve 90% of that. So if you want to load up all the kids and go to dinner, then this isn't the right tool for the right job. And I think that's what's happened here in the U.S., energy has been so ridiculously abundant, whether it's fossil fuel or coming out of the wall. So we never had to worry about efficiency. Now there's serious questions about the energy grid, its ability to support electrification, internal combustion fuel costs also increasing. Now all of a sudden energy is seeming significantly less abundant, and it's going to force people. It's a little bit of a stick to consume less.
Chris, what is the safety standard like in these vehicles? Is it kind of the walnut shell mentality?
So it's basically a race car roll cage.
Wow.
If I kind of move out of the way, you can kind of see.
No, don't move, please. We're staring at you. We're gazing. No, but yeah. So safety is something that we got emails about. We got emails about two things: how safe is it, and how fast can it go?
Yeah, it's incredibly safe, and you can get up to 80 miles an hour on the highway. So there, naturally, with 1,000 plus of these vehicles that we produce, we hit that number in June. So we produced over 1,000 vehicles. We've driven 1.2 million miles cumulatively, and naturally, with that kind of exposure, we've had them get in wrecks. And I think to date, as far as I understand, there's been no fatalities, minimal injuries. It does far better than your typical vehicle on the road.
Awesome.
And you're completely encapsulated by that frame. Like I said, as a kid, I used to help my Uncle Pitt and help him weld up some of these types of frames. And this is very akin to what you'd see in a drag car as far as that protective shell. So one, it makes it easier for us to produce. We can produce so at an affordable rate, but it also provides a high level of safety. So I know at first blush, when you look at this, people, I think, interpolate motorcycle level safety onto something like this. It's considerably more safe. Visually, it's got a higher profile, just the typical height of a car. Mm-hmm. So you're used to seeing things of that comparable size, but takes up far less space, Mike, and you're completely protected.
It is, because Mike, you could take that from the living room to the kitchen and save
100%
to the fridge, save some energy there. Hey, you mentioned 9 out of 10 times we're by ourselves. What is the ideal size of the vehicle, let's say in 5 to 10 years, when all of our wives leave us? No, but seriously, what I'm saying is there is a right-sized car that we should have based upon demographics and research, right? Do we need a 4-door race car? Do we need a 4-door SUV? Do we need nothing but a one-seater? What's your opinion on that going forward?
Yeah, and one, I think there's a distinction to draw between need and want, right? I don't want to live in a society, and I don't think you do either, where I only have what I need versus what I would like, right? Sometimes that big truck, four-wheeling, or the race car, like it has its use and its place, and we should celebrate the levels of modernity, right, that we've achieved as a culture. But as far as the typical get around, this will be the ideal size. What you'll see in the future, likely from us, is more than 2-seat options within that same basic footprint. Because within this track width, you're able to fit quite a bit in there. And like one of it is the flatbed that's behind my other shoulder. There as our MUV. We also have a boxed off version of that. That MUV, what we call our modular utility vehicle, and you had it in the reel there, is we're developing implements, much like a tractor has implements out in the field, to facilitate different commercial applications. So we've got a new one coming that I'm actually excited to show you when we're down in San Diego.
You're coming down here, and we're going to see more of this company on the air with us. Chris, one of our favorite guests. I appreciate you being so generous with your time. Arcimoto, NASDAQ symbol FUV, and you can go to arcimoto.com. By the way, I'm slapping a Gremlin sticker on the thing, and then when people don't know the difference, you know, Mercedes-Benz on one of them. I got maybe a Chevy Vegas sticker on the other one.
Of course. That's a lot.
Big Biz Show.
Which means blow up, blow from behind.
Which means crop duster. See you in a minute.